I saw this viral 3D printed floating planter rail system, and I thought it was a stroke of genius. So naturally, I decided to steal it, but not in the way you think. The original design works perfectly, just not for me, because Morty the Money Tree is already in the ceramic planter that I wanted to keep using. So I spent the last couple of days redesigning my version of the system. The problem? I'm not an engineer, and I have absolutely no idea how structural integrity works. So I'm designing purely on vibes. If it works, I'm a genius. If it breaks, then I'm cleaning up dirt and ceramic shards in my bedroom. Let's find out in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Steal Like a Creator, where I take inspiration from amazing creators and try to add my own spin to their ideas. So for episode 1, I want to give full credit to Brian over at Lofted Goods. He's a fantastic designer in the 3D printed home goods space who came up with this amazing design. As an aspiring plant daddy and a 3D printing enthusiast, I thought this would be the perfect project to take on. First, let's look at Brian's creation. This is the Rail V2. It relies on a wooden dowel that serves as the whole backbone of this whole system. Brian designed a variety of really cool planters that attach with a dovetail connection, which is a classic woodworking joint. Now, I love the aesthetic mix of the wood and the 3D printed parts, but there's a catch. Like I mentioned, to use the system, I'd have to use his specific planters. It's essentially a closed ecosystem, kind of like a walled garden. Oh, pun intended? Definitely intended. Yeah. That's a good pun. That is a good pun. And that is where we run into the Morty problem. Thanks, dude. You see? So Morty's already in the ceramic pot, and I don't want to have to reprint out a bunch of new planters just to use the rail system. So this is where my little spin on this project comes in. The mission is simple. I'm going to design a shelf that's hopefully strong enough to not have Morty crashing down. We don't want that, right, Morty? So to pull this off, we need to understand exactly what we're stealing. Looking at Brian's system, it really just consists of 3 parts: the spine, the mounts, and the collar. First up, the spine. This was the easy part. It's literally just a standard 1-inch wooden dowel. Step 1 is done. Next, the wall mounts. It looks like a simple socket where you insert the ends of the dowels, and the sockets have a keyhole slot on the back. I think this is pretty simple geometry that I can figure out how to model in CAD, so it shouldn't be a problem here. And then finally, the collars. It looks like Brian uses a slit-fit design with dovetails to hold the planters, and to keep it in place, he's using a tapered wedge. It seems like you shove the wedge into the collar to create a tight compression fit against the dowel. Overall, it's pretty simple and effective. So this is where my design comes in. I just want a shelf that fits into the dovetail connections where I can just place my plants on top. And I think it should be a pretty simple design in CAD, but I'm not much of a 3D designer, so we'll see how it goes. Next, I hopped into Fusion 360, spent a couple hours figuring out my design, and then printed out a couple of test prints. And I do have to say, these time lapses are pretty sweet. So, fresh off the prints, I have all the shells designed, and now we're gonna test out to see if it'll hold 15 pounds. Yeah, let's see. For the test rig, I clamped the wooden dowel to my bicycle stand, slipped on the dovetail collar, and then kept it in place with a wedge, just like Brian's design. For the shelf design, I came up with a 2-piece nested assembly. There's a bezel that holds an inner insert. The bezel is tapered, and the insert is just a cylindrical core, and I think together it gives it a pretty interesting look to it. And then the shelf simply connects to the collar with a dovetail connection. Then it was time for the strength test. I got a 15-pound water weight here. We are just gonna hang it off. See if it holds. Pretty solid. So I made 2 different sizes of shelves. One is 150 millimeters in diameter, and the other is 200 millimeters. So this one should just fit, right? enough for this. I also designed extension blocks to give the shell more clearance from the wall. Then I tested to see if the printed joints are strong enough to hold the weight this far out. So with the extension block, there is this wide gap here. I mean, I think this should be okay because I don't plan on putting the heavy pot on a smaller shelf with an extension, so this is strong enough to hold a smaller pot. Next, I added the extension block to the larger shelf, but the results weren't looking good once I let go of the weight. You can see the joints separating after putting the weights on, and definitely didn't trust it. So I decided to apply a tiny bit more pressure to see where the breaking point was, and honestly, I barely touched it before the whole thing gave up. This part didn't fail, but so right there is where it failed. Kind of cracked right there. Alright, so initial testing shows that for the smaller shelves, they're strong enough for their purpose, and I don't plan on putting a heavy planter in these small ones. So as far as the strength for the small ones, I think we're okay there. But my worry is for these bigger shelves. If I don't use an extension block, I think it's strong enough. But if I do want to put an extension block to bring this shelf a little bit out further, there's too much weight on the shelf when it gets extended. I'm going to go back and redesign the larger shelf just to be a little bit more sturdy. But yeah, let's go figure out how to make a stronger dovetail joint. I spent the next day testing out a couple different designs, but they all failed. So I was back at my desk, totally stuck. I stared at that blinking cursor for a while and had nothing. Then I needed a quick mental rest and tabbed over to YouTube. But suddenly, the algorithm blessed me with a legendary refresh. This creator, Mike from NeedItMakeIt, had uploaded the exact video I needed to solve this problem. If you're a creator who shares knowledge like this, thank you. You are the backbone of this community. So I set out to work on the new design, but as I was working, something strange happened.
Finishing God requires a sacrifice.
Wait, what?
Approach the vessel. Finishing God hungers.
I'm here, now what?
Soon, the filament proof.
You want me to eat what?
And soon, the filament or else.
Anyways, this is the new collar I redesigned based off of Mike's video. It joins at a slope now, and I also made the dovetail a little bit smaller. My initial impressions after fitting the two parts together was that it felt really solid already. Then it was time to test out the new design. So I hooked it up to the test bench. Yeah, so it feels pretty solid now. Just like the other test, I grabbed a 15-pound weight and set it on the new shelf, and the results were really good. The new connection wouldn't even budge. Oh, that is super strong. To really test out the strength of this new connection, I decided to add more weight to see where the breaking point was. I have a little box with a lot of batteries inside. I think this box was another 10 pounds of weight. That is strong. Yes. And with the results of the final test, I was ready to mount the rail. So just like Brian, I created an insert so I could mark where to drill on the wall. This corner of my room was a perfect place to mount the rail so the plants can get plenty of indirect sunlight. Then, just to be sure it was perfectly vertical, I used a laser level. Quick tip, when drilling holes, tape a piece of paper underneath to catch all the debris. Next, I was able to slide on the shelves, mount the rail to the wall, add a couple of extension blocks. Once that was locked in, I started moving in the tenants. The smaller plants took the top shelves. Then finally, it was time to put Morty on the shelf. It all came down to this. I held my breath, slowly lowered Morty onto the shelf, and it was rock solid. So we finally did it. We stole Brian's closed ecosystem, took the core mechanics, stripped them down, and created our own version of the rail, and ended up with this cool walled garden. And yeah, I did have to eat some filament poop to get here, but hey, That's the price of innovation. Once again, huge thanks to Brian for the inspiration and Mike for the dovetail fix. I've linked both of their original projects below, so go show them some love. I'll also be sharing my files to this project if you want to print it out for yourselves. Links in the description. And if you want to see what I steal next, consider hitting that subscribe button. Anyways, I gotta go water my plants. See ya.